Hello, this is Mary Jackson, the Research and Instruction Librarian at Milligan University. Today we're going to talk about PA topic selection and get you ready for doing your capstone project. First of all, I highly encourage you to carefully watch the PowerPoint about the capstone project that's done by the PA professors. Make sure you understand what you are doing. There are many components to this, including your search strategy. That will be part of your paper. And so you need to have a well thought out search strategy. You might want to look at other review articles in academic journals to see how the search strategy plays a part of in the capstone paper. You are also going to need to find at least 7 peer-reviewed sources that will be utilized during your scholarly research. There has to be also a certain level of studies. The research has to be of a certain evidence level, and a minimum of 3 of these sources, only 3 can be evidence level C, and the other ones have to be higher than that. I can't evaluate that for you. That needs to be something that if you have questions about it, you need to ask your professors if something meets the criteria or not. But you need to be very careful that you have the right and correct number of articles for your assignment. The search strategy is part of the project, so you need to carefully think through what you're doing with that, and I can help you with that. Here are some things I recommend that you do as you're preparing to do this project. First of all, spend some time thinking about it. What are you interested in? It might be that your evidence-based practice project assignment that you did earlier will lead you into your topic. And if you were interested in that, that's a good place to start. But if you found that doing that was not kept you interested, then pick something else. Also think about what might be useful in future work where specialties that you're interested in. If you want to do pediatrics, if you're doing mental health, if you're doing, anything other, any other specific specialty, then definitely pick a topic that's within that uh, uh, area and spend some time really pondering what might be a good thing. Make sure your topic is still a current topic. They want you to have something that's still being that protocols haven't been finalized and the treatment options are all exactly the same and we have been the same for a long time. You want something where maybe there's some discussion and debate about what the best practice, best protocols are. That's the kind of thing that they're looking for, and you are going to do research and then give recommendations to your classmates. Be specific as possible. I'll talk more about that, but you're going to want to get this topic focused in a number of ways. You can, at any point in this process, come and have a conversation with me, and obviously you can talk to your professors, but I'm happy to talk about topics, how to get topics focused, areas which might be good areas for research. I'm happy to talk to you about any of this. Biggest issue in most cases is that your topic is too big. I have to work all the time on telling people this needs to be smaller, this needs to be more focused, and we'll talk more about how you can do that. If there are entire books about the topic, then this is not a good topic and is not a focused topic. If the search results in Medline or PubMed are over 1,000 and even over 500, it's still too big. You want to get a focused topic that maybe only has a couple of hundred results or even fewer than that. Some of you may have a really focused topic because maybe it's maybe a very new area of study, just developing topic. And that's fine as long as you know you can meet the criteria for the number of sources and the level of evidence. Sometimes with new topics, there haven't been rigorous research studies yet. And so you can't pick it because there just hasn't been the kinds of studies needed to be able to do that. Again, I can talk to you about that and help you with that if that's an issue. But usually your topic is too big and I'm telling you it needs to be smaller, it needs to be smaller. Some things you should not do. Don't just randomly throw in search terms. And the search terms you should all have meaning and weight. Using the search term research or study, causes, consequences. Those are not words that are adding content to your search strategy. It should be focused on key concepts that are tangible, that are useful for your search. Never use numbers at all in any of these search strategies. The computer doesn't know what kinds of things. It doesn't know. It doesn't assume their ages. It thinks they're page numbers or serial numbers. It doesn't know. And so do not use numbers for ages. I'll come back to how you should deal with ages in a minute. If you have a term that's abbreviated, please unabbreviate it in your search strategy. So even things that are very, very common like PTSD, ADHD, IV, TB, all of these should be spelled out with the full word. And usually the computer finds all of these, but I find I get better results with unabbreviated rather than with abbreviated ones. And you want to make sure you're finding all the best stuff. Pico can help. This can give you some ideas on how to focus your topic and to find areas, different areas that you can do. You're not going to do all of these things. You're just going to do some of them. So the first and the one I use the most is somehow focus on some demographic of your population. This could be sex, it could be race, ethnicity, it could be age, but there are other things that it could be that you could limit your population. And you may know your population, comorbidities, all sorts of things can be a way to focus the topic more and focus your demographics. It could be on an intervention, something you're going to do with your patient population that's a way to focus it. We're going to try this intervention and have a focus group that does not have another intervention. It can also be comparison. I used to not tell students not to use this. I think I've come back on that I think this can work with comparisons, maybe a pharmaceutical treatment as opposed to a non-pharmaceutical treatment. That's a comparison. There are plenty of things where there's already a very set up comparison, something where we're still deciding which is the best option. And so there may be a whole bunch of studies on that topic, and that would be great. You may have to go do two searches, a search on this option one, and then another search on option two. Sometimes you can find both of them, sometimes you can't. Do not use the verses. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but don't use the word verses and don't use the VI dot in your search strategy. Just list the options and whatever the topic is. And if you need help with this, obviously talk to me. You could also focus on the outcome, not return, that they don't return back to the ER, that they don't return back to the hospital, that they need less rehab, or they are faster recovery. There are a million outcomes. Sometimes that can be a tricky research project, but there are ones out there, and so that may be something that is a way to focus your topic. Again, you're not going to do all of these because if you do, it's going to be too small. But these are several places where if your topic is too big, these are some ways that you may be able to think about it and think about how to focus it more. Where should you be searching? A lot of times your professors are talking about PubMed or Medline all the time. I suggest that you should be using OneSearch. Don't just search Medline, which is one of our databases, Milligan databases, and don't just search PubMed. Why am I telling you to do this? The reason you should use OneSearch over just searching Medline is because many of your topics overlap in other disciplines. I've had students, PA students in the last couple of years do things about ADHD, about trauma, about all sorts of things that may relate to other disciplines. And so is it written up in a medical journal or is it written up in a psychology journal that's also a medical journal? And so you're going to want to see all that research. And if you just search Medline, you're not searching all the research. And you may be missing things that are very, very relevant to your topic. So when you're searching, you should always search OneSearch and not just focus on Medline. You should also search PubMed. Many of you are already, that's where your default is, but PubMed is not the only place. You do need to be searching in Milligan's resources too. Remember that PubMed is the most recent stuff and so you definitely should be out searching in PubMed. Um, should you be using up to date? That's come in recently, and there are some pros and cons about using up to date. Up to date will have some sources, but keep in mind the purpose of up to date is to give you treatment protocols. It is not a database, a comprehensive database of all the research on a topic. It is not its job. It doesn't want to do that, and it doesn't do a great job on that because that's not what it does. It does cite its sources, which is great. So if you use up to date and you do see some sources in there, that is a great place to get some citations, to get some information. Um, it is not a database, so it's not comprehensive. It is just giving you enough sources to make a case for a certain protocol, a medical treatment plan. And so it's going to give you a couple, it's not going to give you all of them. So you definitely can't just use up to date. It's a good place to go and check, but it doesn't replace using PubMed and OneSearch at all. You are not going to be finding enough stuff or you're not going to be finding comprehensive information if you just use up to date. Also, up to date doesn't immediately update all the things. They do them on a rotating basis and some on what is incoming. And so they may not update things as fast as both PubMed and OneSearch. So it's a good place, not a great place. And it is only one place to look, and you should not be using it as your only source of information. So, search strategy recommendations. First of all, a lousy search strategy will have lousy search results, and a great search strategy should have great search results. So you need to spend some time thinking about this search strategy. It's also going to show up in your final capstone paper, so people are going to be looking at it. Everybody's going to be seeing this, and so if you have not spent much time with it, they're going to say, well, how did you get the results you did? You didn't find everything because you didn't have a good search strategy. I recommend you start in OneSearch, see what we have. There's going to be more full text in OneSearch than anywhere else. And so OneSearch is a great place to be, and you want to start there. You also want to check PubMed for the most current articles. Again, PubMed's going to have a lot of citations, so you're going to need to get the full text from the PubMed sources. And you can also take a brief look at up to date. If you only have a citation, which is what you're going to get a lot of times in PubMed, take that, copy the title of the article from the citation, go take that and paste it into OneSearch. It may be available full text in OneSearch, and then you're in great shape, or it will initiate an ILL request. That's an interlibrary loan that we can get any article from PubMed for you. You just need to do an interlibrary loan request, and then we will go get it for you. If you have any questions about getting the full text of anything that you've found, ask a librarian. You're welcome to email me, or any of the librarians can help you with this, and we will make sure you get the resources you need. As I mentioned, search strategy is really important. So you need to have good search terms, but there are also some techniques that can help you in your search strategy. Exact phrase, you don't want to overuse this, but if you put things in quotes, that will force that those two words will be together in that order. So having eating disorders will make sure that you get that phrase in your search. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Don't do long over very specific searches, because then that will limit your results. And there may be lots of ways of saying things and not using those exact words. So keep it just to terms that need to be together to be a search term. Truncation, which many of you have not used a lot, but works very well in the databases and can be used in PubMed, are that you shorten the word stem to get other possible endings. So if you want to get the endings for adolescent, like and TS and T and NCE, you can shorten adolescent to get all of those results. And sometimes if you have very few results, this can be a way to get a few more that without changing any of your search terms. You can overuse truncation, which will lead to just your resource, the number of searches results going very, very high. So if you find that happens, then just take the stop using truncation. A good example is HEAL with the truncation symbol. Yes, this will get you heal and healing, but it also gets you health and healthcare and a bunch of other words. And so it tends to not be useful because there's so many terms that could be with this prefix or this stem. Do you need help with any of this? We're here to help you. That's what librarians do. You're welcome to email me. You can also email the library in general, and we will get back to you as quickly as we can. And I am not as available in the summer, so it may be better to just contact the library at library@milligan.edu, and somebody can help you more rapidly than me. You can also, up in April and May, you can schedule an online topic conference with me. If you don't like the times that I have put in there, just send me an email and we can figure out a time to work. I pick just general times to schedule, but I'm pretty flexible and am happy to meet with you whenever works for you, including evenings if that's what you need. I'm going to do a quick search to remind you of about a few things that are helpful when doing search strategies in OneSearch. First of all, don't use the search box. Go to this advanced search. That will give you all the functionality of things. So I'm going to do a topic that I have learned more about after having worked with PA students. This is something I knew absolutely nothing about, and now I know more because I've worked with you all. So that is on gut microbiomes. And I start typing my topic in, and you can see that it's going to give me some suggested alternative terms. You should use these. These are things that are showing up in this database and will give you some other terminology that people use. So I'm going to pick on that. Now I will pick what I'm most interested in, which is cognitive decline. And so I do that. And I look at these options. I like the first two. I don't like the third one because that's more general. I want really on decline or something that's not working well. And I'm going to, at this point, do just a search right now to figure out how many search results I have. Is my topic too big? Is it just right? Where am I at? Do I need to add more things in here? What do I need to do? So I'm going to do search. And I'm going to see how many results I have with this. And I have 7,689. So that is a lot. And I'm going to definitely need to do some more focusing of my topic. But there are also some filters I need to put on this. I definitely want peer-reviewed journal articles. I'm looking for, the best academic resources on this. So I'm going to pick peer-reviewed. I'm also going to limit by date, and probably for most of your topics, you're going to want to limit to the last 5 years because you really want to see what is currently happening on this topic and not things that are farther back than that, because it's just not going to be the most recent research on this. You can see that my numbers are going down. You can also do academic journals, though most academic journals are also peer reviewed, so that usually doesn't matter. But so I still have, a lot, 5,000 results here, and so I'm going to need to do some more things. I am not going to use this limit of full text because that will only limit it to things that Milligan has in full text, and you need to be seeing everything that's out there in interlibrary loaning the articles that you don't have. You don't want to miss something And that's what you're gonna miss something if you pick full text. Okay, so I'm gonna do advanced search again, and it's gonna open up my boxes again, and I'm gonna figure out what else do I want to uh, um, do with this. So I think I know one of the treatment options that has been widely researched is a fecal transplant, which I find fascinating. And so I'm going to add that in there and see how this how that impacts on my results. Okay, it went way down. So that is good. I'm very happy with that. That is getting it to a very good place, very specific. But as I look at this, it's also good to look through this and make sure that you're getting that you've got all the search terms. Here's cognitive dysfunction. And so maybe I want to look at that. Um, I also see the term cognition, and I don't have that. So I'm going to go up here and try one. I'm going to do my exact phrase on some of these to make sure I'm getting, and I'm not going to do all of these just because it takes a lot of time. But I'm also going to put in here, I'm going to try truncation on cognitive so I can get cognitive and cognition because that may be important. I also am going to add in decline or impairment, which were my ones. And I also had or dysfunction. Those were all terms I had, and that was just in a quick look. And I'm going to do search and see where we're at with this. Okay, I have 167. I probably would not focus this anymore because this is a pretty good thing. But I will mention one other thing I could do is add a row and add in women. And notice I have this. That is a good way to one of the demographic ways of searching. I'm down to 8, which is really too small, but is a possibility. Keep in mind, if you do this, this does not mean the study just had women in it. It will have women. It does say that women were part of the study, but it could have both women and men in here. So it's not just limiting to studies that have that. So all of this is uh, um, shows you some of the steps that you can take to do this. Once you do this, make sure you copy this. You may want to do a snipping tool or a screenshot so that you have this because you're going to need this for your paper and you're going to come back to this over the whole semester or whole year, and you're going to need to revisit some of this. I will also remind you, PubMed and OneSearch are updating the databases throughout the whole year. So please make sure to redo these searches 6 months from now and see if there's some more recent article that you have not seen that you may want to put in there. The most recent stuff, this is going to be a long project and you have not done as something like this in a long time. A quick look at the results. Some of them will be things that you can, our full text finder. That means just click on it and the full text should come up. This one says request via interlibrary loan, which means you would need to request it. Again, they should come, especially articles should come in a matter of days. If it doesn't arrive, contact Linda in the library. I'm also going to be giving, there's another video linked in the assignment sheet to a product called an online application called Zotero. And my co-worker Janine is going to explain how that can be a great place to manage all your resources and help with citation and some other things and help you with organizing your paper. And so please watch that video. It may be very useful to you. And if we can help you with any of this, please let us know. We're here to help you, and we hope that there's anything we can do to make you more successful. We want to do that.